Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whenever you happen to be watching this, and welcome to another Club 100 video. This time we are all the way over in South Wales at Llandow for, what is this, round 8 of the Club 100 Sprints Championship. For our first race, we're lucky enough to be starting on pole. Now, I did also take part in the testing session, which means that for once, I can't use the excuse of saying I didn't get 15 minutes of testing like everyone else, because I did actually get it this time. So I was feeling very confident for this race, but I do have some monsters behind me. I've got Daz Teal starting in third. I think Reese Pope was further behind as well. Dante Dillon was in this heat, so it was a pretty strong grid. And starting first for your first heat of the day is still a little bit nerve-wracking, but the first sequence of corners is all very nice, all very tidy, and we continue to lead, which is exactly where we want to be, and can't really complain. So this is the opportunity now just to get my head down and try to pull away from the field. I didn't do any of that looking behind me nonsense. It was just put in the laps as many times as I can, and if Daz catches up to me, if he gets past, then fair enough. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep on pushing and see what I can do. In the test session, I did manage a 53.1, and in this session, or in this heat, my first few laps were very consistent. I think it was a 53.2, 53.2, 53.2, 53.1, so I think it was either 4 or 3 laps that were all within a tenth of each other, so I was very happy about that. Moving on then to the end of lap 3, I've just been leading without any issues down into the final corner. Daz sends it, and I say, sure enough, that's fine, buddy. I'm going to go for the switchback, and I take back the lead. Daz is on the outside, and he knows better than to try to hang it around there, because that could always end in disaster. So we're back up into the lead, and then moving on to lap 5. I'm going defensive because I've got someone right behind me. I kind of mess up the braking. I don't think I got pushed from behind or anything like that. And it's Reese Pope who overtakes me. So he's got past Daz, and Daz follows through. And this next bit is quite funny because Reese gives a signal to move forward, looks behind him, and then realizes, oh shit, it's not Yusuf behind me, it's Daz. And Daz just sends him up the inside of the hairpin and moves up into the lead just like that. So sorry, Reese, I couldn't be a better buffer for you, but yeah, Daz just followed Reese through. Coming towards the end of lap 6, I'm already starting to go a little bit defensive now, because this is the point where Dante Dillon caught up to the rear end of me, and while I was kind of keeping up with Reese and Daz, I knew I had to keep Dante behind me because the two in front are C1 drivers, Dante is a C2 driver, and also I want to hold on to P3. So I drove so defensively for these final 2 laps. It was ridiculous, and I've watched through this video footage. It doesn't do justice just to how tense I was feeling through this race, knowing that Dante was right behind me, and he caught up so quickly. I mean, credit to Dante, he was probably the quickest driver out there today. He was putting in some insane lap times. I go defensive again into that right hand, and this time I actually brake at the right point, bring my car over to the right so Dante can't send me, and then I can just park it on the apex, take it nice and easy, hope that Dante gives me a little push, lose some of his momentum, give me some of his, and then away we go. And again, defensive into the final corner, and then towards the end we bring the car back out so that we can take a line and we're not compromised on the exit of the corner. And then final lap of the race. Now Dante was kind of on my inside, so I just moved over just to essentially say to Dante, look, I can just come over here, do you want to keep your nose up my inside because it could end badly? And Dante backed out of it, so I took the corner, and again just going defensive here because very easy to send someone up the inside. And then into the double right-hander, I had a check behind my shoulder and I saw it was clear. I had a bit of a gap to Dante behind. I think actually Dante lost the position, so I could breathe a sigh of relief, wipe some sweat off my forehead, and just take the rest of this lap nice and calm without having to defend. I did look behind my shoulder again about here, and then I saw Dante was back up a position, but not close enough to be able to challenge it into the final hairpin. So yeah, that's the first heat of the day. Sadly, no positions being gained apart from the switchback on Daz Teal after he got past me, but I don't really think that counts. And Dante gives me a nice little thumbs up after after the race just to say good fun battle, which is always nice. So our second heat then, I think we're starting from 7th in this one. And to be honest, I was looking at this heat and I thought, there aren't any of the big heavy hitters around. There was Dante, who's already up into the lead, but outside of that, I thought I had a really good chance of getting second. But the kart just didn't feel right. We have a good send up the double right-hander. We move up into 5th place, but at this point I saw 2 karts in front of me and I thought, I can catch those guys, I've got the pace. But I went from doing the low 53s in the first heat to doing 53.7, 53.7, 53.8 as I get sent up the inside. Very nice move. It's not even into the left, he just does it through the right. So that was actually a fantastic overtake. But like here you can see just how much the kart ahead pulls away. And again, as I'll always say, this isn't me essentially saying, oh, I could have done so much better if I had a good kart. It's every now and then you'll get a bad kart, especially in like your second and third heats. You can never do anything to change them, so you just have to live with them. It's just more of a mental note, because it is stressful as well when you have these races and you think all of a sudden I'm not catching up to people that usually you do, and I start thinking, oh, am I driving worse? Is it something to do with me? And then you start over driving the car. I'm including the next lap because I get a 53.2, which all things considered, considering the kart as well, this is a banger lap, I think. One of the differences I do is through turn 2, that left-hander, I don't go that wide on the entry into it. I actually kept it tighter, so that seemed to work a little bit better. Through this double left-hander, I take both apexes, whereas before I was missing the second apex. And then through the double right-hander, again, it's just nice and smooth. I don't really lose too much momentum. This right-hander I was struggling with all day, and this time I just completely missed the apex. So I don't know how I got this time. Maybe that's the faster way around the corner, I don't know. Through here, you want to get right up onto the curbs. I actually should have been on the curb through the left for a longer period of time. So I think this lap could have even been a 53.0 if I got that fast right-hander right, which I sadly didn't. I think the best way to take it is just to flick it in. I don't know if any of the quick guys or anyone who was able to get into the 52s or anyone who actually did suss out that corner in general knows. Let me know, because that was a one corner that I was struggling with. This particular kart felt quite understeery, which is why I missed that apex. I was just feeling throughout the entire session that the kart was understeering, and then when I was watching this back, it looked like the kart was lacking a little bit on low end. The top end seemed relatively good. And now I'm going defensive into the chicane. I had Bryn all over my rear end. He's pushing me through corners because I'm just going so slowly. In fact, when I went wide through that right hand, I think that's because Bryn gave me a little bump through the corner because I braked quite early for it, so that's why I went wide. I don't know how I only just remembered that, but yeah, there we go. Our second heat, we end up finishing, what was that, 6th? So 7th to 6th, heat 1, 1st to 2nd, because Reese actually picked up a penalty in that first heat. So we jumped up from 32nd after penalties. Now, this is heat 3. We're starting all the way down in 11th. We got Mike Coppin on our left starting in 10th, so he's going to be flying through the order. But again, outside from that, I don't think there were many heavy hitters, any other of the big C1, C2 guys in this heat. So again, I was feeling quite hopeful for what we could do, and this heat is absolute chaos. Someone's got a really bad start, and I think, let me try to go to the outside, and it's just absolute chaos. You can see Mike's already gained quite a few places. Actually goes onto the grass for a little bit, and now we're on the outside into the double left hand, so I'm just looking for a way to get through, kind of get muscled out a little bit, and then I decide, wait, I can just slot my car up the inside of the double right hander. One of the best places to get a move done. That actually, you know what, I actually think Llandow's quite an easy track to overtake at. I know a lot of people are saying it's difficult, but there's about 4 really good overtaking opportunities. You've got the final corner, you've got turn 2, you've got the double left-hander, you've got the double right-hander, and sometimes even into the fast right before you go onto a tree line straight. So actually this track is quite good for overtaking. I prefer it to the likes of Rye House for that. undoubtedly, maybe even Lid, we have a good send up the inside into this left hand, a bit of contact, but I think my kart was pretty much all the way alongside, which I don't know if anyone thinks that was on the line or wrong. Let me know. No, I didn't get a shunt from that. I thought I was going to run into the back of the guy in front of me, so I ended up jamming on the brakes a bit too hard, which caused the rears to lock up, and then I went wide. So that's why that happened through the double right-hander. I'm just trying to recollect everything that essentially happened in this race. Either way, we catch up to this guy very quickly. He's falling back to that group of karts up ahead. So now it's just searching for a way through. And again, this is another one of the good overtaking opportunities. Down the inside, rear end snaps out, back on the power as early as possible. And this is where I see I got a penalty. So I thought it was for that move into turn 2 while I was in the car. It turns out I got a penalty for excessive weaving on the formation lap, which is something I've never seen before in my life. It is a rule. I think it's a little bit BS, but it is what it is. Lesson learned, and I'll make sure not to weave until everyone has taken their grid positions before the start of the race, if that's how it works. We get a decent run. This is actually a decent lap, 53.1, one of my quickest laps of the day. Pretty much every heat I got a 53.1, apart from the second heat, which was that 153.2. We get a good run, and I think, you know what, can we go up the inside? Absolutely. I didn't actually think that'd be, an easy place to overtake, but it didn't feel too difficult once I did it. I think that's another one of the things with karting. You got to have the confidence. Once you do a move once, you realize, hang on, this is actually a relatively easy move to do, and then you just feel confident to do it again and again and again. But before you do it that first time, before you take that leap, that risk, it always feels like it's an impossible move. It's the same thing into this chicane. Sending it up the inside into the left hand, it looks really difficult. Or at least it looked difficult to me at the start. But once you do it once you see someone else do it, it just gives you that little bit of confidence to know, hang on, I can actually do this move. And it was the same at Rye House into the final corner when I passed Fraser, because in a previous heat I'd sent someone up the inside, it worked, so I thought, hang on, I can do this. Again, we got a decent run. I want to go up the inside, but just not fully committed. This guy carried a lot of speed into the corner as well, and yeah, I'm just looking for a way through, trying to see if an opportunity is going to present itself. And I think I should just send it up the inside into this final corner, but I kind of lose a bit of time on the straight. Maybe I don't get a good exit, and again, easy send. I should have just gone for it. So I think I'm being a little bit too hesitant probably, and as a result, just not carving my way through the field as quickly as I probably could if I was just being a little bit more aggressive. That second heat did knock my confidence a little bit, not massively, and I'm just watching these two up ahead, and I know, okay, you two are going to fight really hard. There has to be an opportunity, and the guy in front takes a very tight line through the double right-hander, so I can't slot up the inside. Otherwise that would have been exactly what I go for. Now I see these two again having a bit of a moment, so I try to have a good run, but I just don't time it right, and as a result I can't get the position, and now someone else is on my inside. So I think, is there a way I can do this? I can't squeeze him out. I mean, I could, but I'd be a massive a-hole if I did that, and deserve to get a massive penalty and probably a slap in the face. But then I have a nice send up the inside, pull off the dummy, pull off the switcheroo, up the inside, we regain our place. So with the penalty, I think it was like 10th. This guy gives me a thumbs up. Again, really good to see. Just a bit of sportsmanship. It doesn't matter if you win the battle or not. It's just nice to have that battle and be appreciative that we're all able to have this battle, because at the end of the day, that's why we're here. Now, here we go then, finals. We're starting 21st after getting, a 2nd, a 6th, and a 10th. So, the only way is forwards. At this point, there's a few people behind me. I think it's, 24 people in the race. 2 of those from the B final. So, away we go then to start the A finals. As always, no highlights for A finals. We just include the full raw footage, and we commentate over it for 12 minutes. And as you can see, this is absolute carnage. So I'm on the inside into the double left-hander, and I see so many carts. I'm getting forced out, and I just think, back out of it. I probably should have just pinned it around the outside, but maybe Lid was in the back of my head, and I thought this could end really badly. So right now, I'm at the very back of the field. Everyone's past me. And again, if I'd been a bit more aggressive, I'd be a bit higher up. So in hindsight, I think I should have been aggressive, but at the time, I know exactly what I was thinking, and I just thought people are going to get knocked out wide, and it's going to take me out. So I didn't think it wasn't safe to make the move. I just thought there's a high chance that there'll be a collision, and I'll get sent out into the grass and barriers. And now we're just getting pincered, and this is getting a bit crazy. And again, I'm still at the back of the field at this point. So we're essentially doing a last 2 question mark challenge, and someone has a spin here. I jump on the brakes because I see his cart rolling, but he very smartly jumps on the brakes themselves to stop his cart rolling across the track. Up the inside into this double right-hander. Very nice move, standard move here at Llandow. So we've gained 2 positions technically. Reese Pope has had an absolute nightmare. I think maybe he's got a bad cart or something, because it's very unusual to see him this far down the order. But it's just about making our way through the field. The cart felt okay, but when I looked through this video the first time, it does look like acceleration out of the corners isn't great. We go up the inside into the hairpin, we gain another place, and that's just the aim for me, just trying to gain places as quickly as I can and make my way through the field. So in through turn 2 and 3, we're right on the back of someone. I want to go up the inside into this corner. Am I close enough? Yes, I am. And very late move. Do I squeeze him out? I do indeed. You can see on the shadow me just pointing in front, saying let's just go. I don't want to battle with you. I'm quicker than you. Let's just get through this field and not hold each other up. So into the fast right-hander, and again, you can see I'm just not carrying the speed through, not getting the exit speed. I don't know if that particular one was a cart or me. I think it's probably me. But when I come through these corners, you can see, like, look at how much time I lose on the exit of the corner. So again, I don't know if that's me driving badly, as I have a send up the inside, almost collect Reese. Like, that would have been a fine move if Reese wasn't there, because I can just get on the power nice and early. But because he is there, it makes things a bit more difficult. So yeah, it's tough to overtake when you're scared of doing that, and as a result, I'm now not in a position to overtake into this sequence of corners. So me being a little bit overeager really cost me. And to be honest, this race, as there are some people in the grass being forced out, this race, this day, felt like me not being aggressive enough, or me being too defensive when I should be aggressive, and me being too aggressive when I should just sit back and be patient. So maybe a little bit of experience lacking there. But again, we've got a good run, and I can go for the same move. I can look to send it up the inside. He's going defensive, so I just go on the outside, look for a switch back, but I just can't find the space to do it. And this is always really frustrating, because you know you've got the pace to get through the field, but you just can't find the space to do it. As I look to go up the inside, little bit of contact, I go for the move way too late. I think I end up getting a warning for that. And again, that I should have pulled off the move there. But I don't know, I just judged the entry speed completely wrong, because I'd done that move many times before in the day, as we've already seen in this video. But yeah, and this is all time that I'm just wasting, essentially being stuck in traffic, because I know I've got the pace, and I just need to wait for a really good opportunity to present itself. And when that'll come, we'll have to wait and see, because this A final was a tricky one for me, and I don't know, I just kind of struggled in it. And again, having a look, actually going defensive because there was someone on my outside, and now we're stuck in that situation of trying to attack but defend at the same time. We lose loads of space to the guy in front of us, so now it just comes back down to trying to close that gap back down, and see what we can do. So through this double left-hander, I don't know, I feel like this sequence, I do tend to gain a fair bit on people around me. Let's see here. Nah, I don't quite get that right-hander right this time round, and not really gaining on those ahead. So I see Reese having a send up the inside of someone. So once they battle, that'll allow me to close back in. But yeah, so, ooh, that's actually close. Again, like there, I think I get a better exit, and I just lose time on the exit of the corner. So yeah, I don't know. Again, defensive line, or maybe I'm just having a look for the inside, but still no luck. Can't find any way through. I get another warning. So I think I got 2 warnings on 1 lap, so they bring it up on the DG flag on consecutive laps. And what I kind of forgot with that is that means that if I get 1 more warning for contact, I get a penalty, 2-place penalty, which I didn't realize at the time, as we have a very nice scent up the inside, and up position we go. And now we've got Christopher Powell up ahead, we've got Hussein 1 place further, so I know those 2 rather well, so I don't want to do anything too aggressive. I just want to get the move done, get the job done as quickly as possible. This lap's actually a good one, a 53.4, and again, I do feel like I'm just dropping back a little bit on the straight, so I don't think it's much. Maybe it's a couple of tenths a lap or something. That final corner we lose a little bit because I just taken the earlier apex, and I have a think. You can see that I'm looking for the inside into that left-hander, but I know it's too early to go for that, so just slotting behind for a little bit longer. Through the double left-hand, again, we are close. We're just waiting for a very good opportunity to show up, and this is a long train that goes all the way up to, I don't know what that is. That's probably like 8th or something, this train of carts. So I doubt I'm going to get through all of them. I didn't think that at the time, but I knew there were a lot of positions on offer if I just work my way through the field properly, if I drive well. And to be honest, I think here at Llandow I didn't drive particularly well, as again, I have a think about the inside and I don't do it. I think that was a position where I could have had a little send. Reese is going sideways with someone, so we go up the inside of Christopher, get the job done, up a position, and now next up is Hussein, and then we've got Reese Pope as well. There were a lot of penalties actually in this race. You'll see on the DG flag every time we go past it. It's always full of a warning or a penalty or 2 warnings. There's always someone doing something, and that's just for the drivers around me. There's probably even more coming for drivers further up the field. Through the fast right-hander, bit of an incident. Someone runs a little bit wide, and now I'm just watching all of this unfold in front of me, thinking, okay, how do I get through on these guys? Hussein also didn't have a great kart on exit. And now I have a think about going up the inside, decide against it. To be honest, I don't really know what more to say. It's just me kind of sitting behind, waiting for opportunities, trying to look for an opening. And again, I'm holding it tight through there so I don't get a good exit, and this means I can't have a send up through the double left-hander. So I'm just kind of compromising myself. I don't know, I guess I'm just not thinking properly, not being calculated enough. I have to jump on the brakes there so that I don't run into the back of Hussein. Again, just stupid. Like, there's no need for that. I need to be thinking, where am I going to make that move, and preparing for it many corners in advance, whereas what I'm doing is just going into every corner thinking, oh, maybe I can go up the inside here, maybe I can do this, and you can't drive like that. So yeah, I think that was one of the things that really costed me here today at Llandow. It's one of those, you live and learn. I look back to it and think, okay, I can do this differently, and then you realize you've got a year to wait before you're back at the circuit for lightweights, because this year in Club 100 I think we're doing Wilton twice and we're doing Buckmore twice, and that's it. I wish we did Bayford twice, because that is a very good track for me, but this time around we are closing into the group of karts in front of me, and I think now Amy Breach has become the cork in a bottle, as Reese Pope starting to pull a little bit away from our train that goes up to, I think it's about 15th or something like that. So again, this time we get a good run through the right-hander, and now I think, okay, right, I need to go up the inside of Hussein into this hairpin. So up the inside we go, late on the brakes, but because of the Constantina effect, we have a little bit of a touchy with the guy on our outside. I don't actually know, like, do you guys think that's worthy of warning contact? Because it's so slight, and he was already sideways because, well, he was right behind Amy, I think he misjudged his braking point and as a result locked up his brakes. And now we're just on his rear end and I'm looking for a way through, and I say, okay, up the inside we go, and because he kind of turns into me a little bit, it compromises my exit, and that means that Hussein goes up my inside and Christopher Powell follows him through. So yeah, you gain 1, lose 2. I think it was a good move into the double right-hander. He kind of turns across me a bit. At least that's how I felt. And that's why I went wide, because I felt like I got... It's weird. It just unsettles the car. I've got to open up the steering, and now I've got to go defensive into this right-hander. I try to park it on the apex, and he just goes around the outside of me. So I thought I was being clever. I end up getting a penalty because that was my 3rd contact warning. So I think that was I don't know. I can't be objective about it, can I? So I don't know if that final contact on that previous lap was worthy of getting a warning, but yeah, it's what happened. And then I lose 2 positions for me trying to park it on the apex and someone just going around me. So I got absolutely wasted there, I think is probably the best term. Now there's more people battling and I'm just waiting for an opportunity to come back through. So I should be at the front of this train as far as I'm concerned. I should be on the front of this train, closing in onto Amy, battling for 15th. Ideally without a penalty as well, but I mean, this is just how it's gone. Little bit of contact through the corner, and now we're on to the final lap. And yeah, it was painful going onto this lap, seeing the final lap board and thinking I should be 3-4 carts up the road. I'm just waiting for a way to get through. So this guy goes on the outside. I have a think of the inside. Again, decide against it. Can I go up the inside into this double right-hander? Of course I can. A little bit of contact, but again, I'm up the inside. I'm pretty much all the way alongside at the apex, so there's a little bit of touching. And he sends it up my inside. I see it coming. I look for the switchback. Actually, this was a really good battle. I did have a lot of fun. Come through the corner. I think I left a bit of space, like I didn't try to run him out. Then I saw he wasn't there, so I just turned in as normal for the corner. And now it's just 1 corner to go. Sane has a look behind him. I'm just going defensive. There's no way I'm going to lose this position into the last corner. And there you go. We come across the line. So yeah, an interesting day overall at Llandow. I wasn't too happy with this. You know, 20th on circuit, a 2-place penalty for excessive contact. I think I should have done a lot better. But it is what it is, right? We move on. Next round is going to be at Wilton Mill, which is a good circuit for me, a very good circuit for me. So the objective there is not to win C2. I am going to try to win the whole thing. Cocky, but you know what they say, aim for the stars, and if you don't reach the stars, you can at least reach the moon. I know I've got a lot of pace at Wilton. It's a good circuit for me. Only Bayford's better, and it should be a lot of fun. There's a lot of overtaking opportunities. So yeah, I'll see all of you guys in Wilton. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, drop a like, subscribe, and I will see you all for the next round of the Lightweight Championship.